after tomorrow, we'll be down to 10. And our last two guys get their second shot.
We're gonna, I think, run a one-shot J&J in a couple of weeks. The county let us know they've got a few hundred sitting around that haven't gone to use, so we're gonna make that. So if there's some guys that prefer it. Good afternoon, CMU. We are glad to have you back for another week of Facebook Live. I'm John Marshall, president of this fine institution, and this afternoon we've got a few guests to chat with you. We're going to highlight not only some COVID questions, but we're also going to highlight some other things going on around campus. And so for those of you that have been on campus this last week, you know we were able to host our first home football game, which was, I think in many ways, much more than a football game. Really for us represented an opportunity of bringing students back together, a return to normalcy, and as we're going to learn in a few minutes here, in addition to a great victory on the field, there are a lot of victories going on in individual students' lives. So today I get to welcome Coach Tremaine Jackson, and Coach, we're glad to have you here today. Great victory over William Jewell last week. I guess 40-3 was the final score, and a great way to get back out on the field, right? After a long season, long year and a half of not playing a lot of football, right?
That's it. Great. It was a great atmosphere. Congratulations to you for your first win as the president of this institution.
Well, I didn't have a lot to do with it, but I appreciate it.
We love congratulating our president, and so. No, it was awesome. It was awesome. I really love seeing our students. I had never saw the atmosphere at a regular Mesa Maverick football game.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like a fan when I ran out the tunnel to see all the people, no restrictions on capacity, and to hear our students roar and to see Rowdy run. And it was just a really good deal. Great night for our community too. And so we were really excited.
Yeah, well, it was fun to see the students get back out there, and you know, it did make me reflect that it's been a long time coming getting to this point. And not just for all the guys on the field and the coaching staff, but for you in particular. I mean, you remind us, you got to CMU when?
Got hired December 19th. I'm sorry, December 23rd, 2019.
2019.
Got on campus January 2nd, 2020.
So you had a full 2 months before COVID hit.
Well,
no spring ball?
No spring ball. 8 weeks of recruiting and getting them ready. And as we were about to go to spring ball, we got the call that things were being shut down.
So then fast forward a few months, the killing of George Floyd, our nation's wrestling with racial justice, and you're thrust into yet another non-football capacity in our community.
Yeah, you know, I always tell people coaching is my calling. And sometimes when you have a calling, you don't necessarily do the coaching. You do a lot more mentoring and speaking up on things. And so we were able to get out in this community to kind of talk to our community about some of the things that were happening in our world.
Yeah.
And as well as to show our students that this community is open and welcoming. We've got a lot of different cultures represented on our football team. That's the beauty of football, as you know. And so we were able to get out front and be leaders on some issues in our community.
Well, and you think about these real life moments, right? We talk a lot about sport as an opportunity to train for life. And I know you've got a whole roster full of guys who have their own unique story, their own unique journey. Talk to us about some of those guys and maybe some of the unique journeys that they've been on that my guess is last Thursday night was probably special for them for different reasons too.
Yeah, the first guy that comes to mind is a guy named Damarion Mitchell. And the reason why it comes to mind first is he's from Houston. I'm from Houston. I actually saw Damarion play in high school. And so when I got the job here, he kind of walked around the corner. I'm like, what is this kid from my neighborhood doing here?
Oh, funny.
And so just looking at his struggle prior to COVID, he had some academic issues, had a great year in 2018, 2019. He had to sit out due to some academic issues. He stayed and persevered through that. There was no scholarship. There was no anything from football. He just had to sit out and watch. He had a kid, and he just kept fighting. And so to see him fight and not give up, not pack it up and go home, he had his senior year coming up. He thought that he was going to be able to perform. He's an NFL prospect as well. And then you get COVID, and we only played 3 games. And so he still stayed and fought, and he's still here today. He and his girlfriend do an awesome job of raising their son, and they're submitted to really making sure they finish the school journey as well as giving himself an opportunity. 2-time captain for us, just doing all the right things on the field. So when he started hitting adversity off the field, it was really fun to watch him fight through it and stick it out.
Well, and you, as a coach, I assume, have got to love having some of those older seniors that are able to mentor and show leadership for freshmen and younger guys in the program, right?
Absolutely, no doubt. You know, those guys have seen a lot. They've been through coaching transitions. They've been through, some of them have been to other schools, and they've seen how other schools do things. But the beauty of it is those guys are mavericks through and through. You would not know where a guy had been prior to if you just looked at our football team. They really bought into this institution and our program, and so they're able to help guys understand our culture. And that's been really big for our success early.
You know, when I think about all the work you've done with the program and, you know, as you look through the roster, it is striking what a great diversity of students you've brought in here, right? From all different walks of life, all different zip codes, and coming together under a common purpose. But for those of us that maybe only get to see guys on the field, you get to see these journeys happening off the field too, right? And, you know, we talk about that life journey that, you know, football is really one way to train and understand grit and follow through in those things. But you're really working on 110 guys, 120 guys in their life journey, right? Daily.
And it's, you know, we've got guys, like you said, from all over. We have a real life program that we instituted here where we bring in a speaker once a week to talk to our team, primarily on Thursdays. So when I leave here, it'll be one over there talking to the team. That has really helped. And we wanted to do that because we felt like football was so much bigger than just the game. We have a grand opportunity to prepare them for their lives. We're on a higher ed campus. We believe we're teachers. I know some people just think we're coaches, but we're teachers, and I like to call myself a professor since I'm on a college campus. But those guys are learning everything from filling out a tax form to what the different laws in different states are, to what you say to yourself when you get out of bed in the morning, not looking at your phone, not listening to yourself, but talking to yourself. And so we really take a lot of pride in that, more so than we do any scheme or play call. We know we have a grand responsibility, and we want to fulfill that.
Yeah, I listen to you talk, and it's fun. It's exciting to see young people with so much promise getting an opportunity to accomplish those dreams and accomplish those goals. And football's one of the ways they can get to that college degree, of course. Coach, before we wrap up, COVID's been a big challenge for all of us. I think you, maybe more than anybody, you were right in the middle of it last fall as we were trying to navigate everything. As you said, we played a season with 3 football games, put a lot of time and effort into those 3 games. This fall, we had earlier this week on Colorado Public Radio did a nice job of highlighting the story of some of your guys and engaging in this really thoughtful conversation around vaccines. We have taken the unusual step of asking students to really demonstrate critical thinking and examining these tough conversations. And you helped facilitate a dialogue with Dr. Bronson and Dr. Reeder and some of your guys. Talk us through that. What happened in those conversations and what was the result of that?
First of all, shout out to Dr. Bronson, Dr. Reeder. That's
the truth.
They came in, they were really honest with our guys.
Yeah.
They gave them all the information. There wasn't a question that they couldn't answer. And there was even one time Dr. Reeder was over Googling something over his phone to make sure he was giving guys the accurate information.
Yeah.
I think because of that, it changed a lot of our guys' minds. They weren't listening to the news. They were listening to real medical professionals right in front of them.
Yeah.
And it helped us get our team predominantly vaccinated, which will allow us to really be able to fight to play this season and not have to cancel games. And so not only did they want to play football, but they wanted the information.
Yeah.
And Dr. B and Dr. Reeder were able to come in and get it to them.
Well, we've talked about that example, but for me, it so illustrates the conversation and our aspiration as a university to say, when the chips are down, there was a difficult moment. Instead of telling our students what to do, we asked them to show leadership, show critical thinking, and engage in a thoughtful conversation. And your guys were an example of that, of really listening carefully, asking tough questions, and then I gather some number of them have gone on to get vaccinated, down to the point where you have very few left on your team, right?
Very few. We had 31 total go after that. It was 26 initially, and we had 5 carry over after that once they got even more information.
Yeah.
These guys are really motivated to go out and compete for this university, but most of all to be leaders for our university. And so once they got what they needed, it was all up from there. And so,
well, as we think about the grand scheme, we'll obviously your task is growing young leaders, and you want to win some football games along the way. But I think as a university, it's just so encouraging to have young people moving in a direction like you've got them going right now, and that's it's been a real joy to watch. So
we appreciate
your work.
Yeah, we appreciate it, President Marshall. We're gonna get you some football wins, some more to add to what you got, and we look forward to seeing the rest of the
undefeated for the first 2 weeks, right?
Undefeated. We get a chance to stay undefeated.
We like having a bye early on.
That's it.
Coach, thank you for coming today. Appreciate all your work on behalf of the university, and you have to come back and see us again here in about 10 weeks. Okay?
All right, appreciate it. Go Mouse.
All right. Coach is taking time out of his day, which we so appreciate. We also want to highlight today another different version of the conversation on campus around vaccines. Part of what we have done, in addition to making vaccines widely available for students, is we've really tried to strongly incentivize students, not just to have the conversation and to think it through, but to actually get the vaccine. And so today I've got one of our students here, Ellie. You are here with us. We're grateful to have you. And you are the winner of our vaccine scholarship, I guess is the term. You won that by going out and getting the vaccine. And congratulations, you got a scholarship for this. Is this amazing or what?
I truly was not expecting this at all. It wasn't even something I thought about, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna win this, no problem. I was like, oh, I could do this, see if anything happens. And
And here you are.
Couple weeks, yeah.
Tell us about you, Ellie. Where are you from?
I'm from Morrison, Colorado.
Morrison, Colorado.
Yep.
What year are you?
I'm a sophomore.
Okay. And what are you studying?
I am studying ecology, evolution, organismal biology.
Okay.
Going down kind of like the wildlife biology track.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
How fun. Well, we were up in the stands and got to see recognized at halftime at the football game, and I know thousands of CMU students have chosen to be vaccinated, but your name was drawn as part of the COVID sweepstakes, and you won. This is amazing.
Truly a grateful.
Well, we're thrilled that you showing the leadership, having the thoughtful conversation about getting the vaccine. Okay, so your mom, she's aware of this, right?
Yes, she is.
I understand.
First person I called.
I'll bet. I understand that she maybe had something to say about this. Is that right?
She did, yes.
Okay, let's see if the guys want to pull that up on the screen for us.
Hello, I'm Heather Steyn. I'm Ellie Steyn's mom, and we are beyond excited and thankful that she has won this scholarship for simply uploading her vaccine card. She was vaccinated. She got her first shot in early February because she was eligible because she was teaching at one of Jefferson County's outdoor lab schools, and got her second shot in mid-March, so fully vaccinated since April. And I had her, or she actually asked to make sure she could upload her vaccine card just to make sure that, you know, she's on the up and up. But we didn't even have it on our radar that this might be a possibility. So it's been exciting, and again, something that we're very thankful for. I'm a single mom, so this will be very helpful in helping her to pay for college and get the degree that she wants and move ahead in life. And we're just again thankful. We're glad that we can do our part to help try to end the pandemic by getting our vaccines. And again, thank you to Colorado Mesa University. We can't say thank you enough. Hello, I'm Heather Steyn. I'm Ellie Steyn's mom, and we are beyond excited and thankful that she...
Well, it was nice to hear from Mom, Heather, right?
Yes, yeah.
It's fun to get to see her and what that means for your family. Tell us a little bit about why you chose to get the vaccine.
Well, I just wanted to do my part, protect my family, my friends, my community, do anything to keep them safe, keep myself safe, just get to the stop of this pandemic.
Yeah, well, amen to that. How's your semester going so far?
Pretty good, keeping busy,
Yeah?
going to all my classes, keeping up with all the assignments,
Good.
having some fun.
I was going to say, you making sure you're getting some fun in there somewhere,
yeah.
and hopefully staying active.
Yep.
I love that. Talk to us a little bit about how you're going to be able to utilize this scholarship in your studies.
So my mom and I are the only two paying for my education. So really anything we can find, any extra money will really help for me to be able to get my education and get my degree and, you know, get a good career.
Yeah, well,
looking out for the future.
Yeah, that's pretty great. And we're just grateful to have you here as a MAV, but also to get an opportunity to, you know, show leadership in this way is a really big deal. So we're grateful for that, Ellie. Okay, you got to stay in touch with us, okay? Let us know how things are going. So we're going to take some questions now. I think we have a few folks here about, let's see here. So we got a few questions coming in. While those questions are coming in, Ellie, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what your goals are in your career and what you want to accomplish?
So recently I've decided that I would like to be a game warden, which is a wildlife police officer.
Yeah.
Working out in nature with animals, that's something I've always wanted to do. Just one of my passions in life.
Well, you're in the right place for it out here in Western Colorado, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you've got an amazing group of professors to walk you through that. Tell us a bit about some of the professors you've been able to study under so far.
So Dr. Weinberg is my chemistry teacher.
Yep.
Pretty good class so far.
Yeah.
And then my chemistry lab teacher is Miss Kenny, Suzanne Kenny.
Yep.
And then I am also taking psychology with Dr. Brian Perry.
Oh, good.
And then, let's see, my English 111 class is with Miss Hanson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got quite a lineup of some star faculty.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's awesome. Well, Ellie, we're grateful to have you here today, and really appreciate it. I'm so grateful that Mom Heather could send us a message from back home and what this means for you and your family. We're sure glad to have you part of the Mavely here.
Totally grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to chat a little bit more about COVID in our community and the current situation here. K-12 went back, and like has happened across the country and here in Mesa County, we've seen a little bit of an uptick in cases specific around K-12. The good news for us is that hospitalizations have remained relatively low, somewhere between high teens to high 20s out of a community of 154,000, which has been encouraging for us. The number of case uptick, though, is something that we're watching carefully. This is something we need to take really seriously, and every day we watch this data very carefully. On campus, we're seeing some cases, as we knew we would. We are not seeing cases in any meaningful spread in the classroom, residence halls, or any of our high-risk Mavelies, such as athletics and the like. But our challenge here that we want to continue to stay focused on is really how do we make sure that every one of us who's able to has thought carefully about and pursued the conversation around having a vaccine. We've had a variety of vaccine clinics here on campus, and in the coming weeks we'll have another vaccine clinic to make it as accessible and easy for you as part of our campus community to get vaccinated. We know that that helps prevent serious COVID, and so I would just ask you once again, please continue to work through this challenging time carefully, thoughtfully, and as we think about protecting our campus community, I would just strongly encourage you, go get that vaccine and really think about it carefully. So beyond that, our data dashboard has been updated. We have added some additional metrics and things that we care a lot about, such as our overall campus community burden. We're tracking the case counts, which matter, but maybe just as importantly, we're tracking both reinfection and breakthrough case rates, because key to our assumptions are, of course, whether or not we're seeing any breakthroughs or reinfections. We've also seen very little isolation and quarantine on campus, which is also a good metric. Where the COVID is coming from, so far our contact tracing team has been able to run to ground virtually all the cases coming in, so we've been able to trace that back to where it's coming from and continuing to update our campus protective immunity metric on a regular basis. So, you know, all of this data is being tracked day in and day out, but we're not out of this. As much as I think many of us would love to move on from it, the truth is that COVID is with us, will continue to be with us through this coming year, and we're going to have to carefully monitor this as our health and safety team is doing as we speak. A reminder that testing is available all the time, Monday through Saturday, out at the campus Student Wellness Center right next door. We've got a small spot where students can go get tested at any time. Students, if you're feeling any kind of symptoms, you need to, 1, log those into Scout, and then 2, you need to communicate with the Wellness Center, be seen by a physician and get tested just as quickly as possible. Make sure you're utilizing our Student Services office and utilizing that absence notification through Student Services if necessary. But really, we just need you as Mavs to continue making good choices, being responsible to the campus, and hanging in there with us. So I want to thank the, let me see here. Oh, okay, we've got an event next week. I think a few weeks back, some of you had raised the question about some bicycle thefts that had happened on campus, which is unfortunately a challenge that we face from time to time here on campus. Wanted to point out we have an event coming up on September the 15th, which is going to be sponsored by Rocky Mounts. They're donating bike locks. We're partnering with our friends at the Grand Junction Police Department and continuing to both promote locks, make sure that students have the right locks, and then promote both getting your bicycle registered through Operation ID and learning how to lock those things up appropriately. So going to be a good campus event. We appreciate our partners both at Rocky Mounts and at the Grand Junction Police Department helping us keep students' bikes safe and here on campus. Thank you again to Coach Jackson and Ellie for coming on the show today. Really appreciate it very much. For all of you on campus, continue to get your questions in, safety@coloradomesa.edu. And thank you for all you're doing to keep CMU safe. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week.